Hey everybody, and welcome back to another gaming video by Scully. So in today's video, the game I wanted to talk about is a little bit different than on the last one. We talked about a PC one for my first kind of video game one. With this one, I wanted to talk more about one that was on the handheld. Some games are on multiple systems. Some, like I know with like the other one I was talking about with The Sims, it can be PC, Xbox, Game Boy SP, even. There's quite a few of them. With this one, I wanted to talk about the Game Boy SP one. Yeah, this little guy right here gave me a lot of happiness growing up. A lot of games I was able to play, kind of on the go, especially if I had to go like visit family. And I mean, you're not gonna take your entire like Nintendo with you or your computer unless you have a laptop or something like that. So these were quite nice in regards to kind of if you wanted to take your game with you, then that was pretty cool. But yeah, the game I wanted to talk about on this one is Mario. Yeah, when I first got introduced to Mario here, it was on the Nintendo, because I was very small. I think it was before I was even able to really grasp the concept of playing a game yet, because I was so young. I saw my sister playing it, or maybe, like, family or something, and thought, hey, that looked really cool. And now with all the gaming systems we have now, we have, like I just showed the Game Boy SP, this little guy's on Game Boy Advance here, but it is Mario 3. There are some newer Mario games now, but I kind of consider myself more of a retro gamer, so I still find a lot of joy in playing the third Mario, even though it's a much older game, because I grew up playing this game and it made me very happy. Still kind of difficult, so to speak, but definitely gotten better at it as I got older. But yeah, still makes me very happy. Just get to kind of run through the levels and all the little Easter eggs, and he flies with his little tail and everything. So a lot of you have probably played that one before if you are gamers. If not, when you play as Mario, he's really just about every game he has to save Princess Peach. And a lot of the games you can play as Luigi as well. I don't know if I said his name right, but kind of his little friend that helps him. And you can play as either one of them, kind of going through the levels and trying to beat Bowser so you can save the princess. It's pretty straightforward in terms of storyline. I believe in some of the later games, I think there are other characters you can play as well. I know I've seen some like Mario Party and everything where you can play as Toad or Peach. So some of the kind of newer characters they incorporated over the years that weren't so much kind of like you didn't see them as much in the older games. The primary focus is really kind of Mario, Luigi, and Princess Peach, and then of course Bowser too. So yeah, that one, I really enjoyed playing that one. It was very frustrating at times because of, when I played it when I was younger, it was kind of a lot harder to kind of, like, the storyline was pretty straightforward, but, going to all the different worlds, they gradually get harder because, I know at least in the third one, there's 8 worlds total. You start out the first one. You can go all the way through, like, 1, then 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth, or you can skip ahead to some levels if you, get certain items that can kind of let you skip ahead. And if it's like the little whistle he uses, then sometimes not only can you skip worlds, or you can get sent straight to the last one. And, well, if you go straight there, hopefully you're ready and have enough items, because once you go there, you can't go back. And plus, it's on its own little slot by itself. So once you're there, you're pretty much there. There's no turning back. So yeah, they gradually get harder up until you get to the 8th one, and then it's incredibly difficult. I don't think I've ever beat the game. I have gotten to the last level, but it is very difficult. So I always found a lot of comfort in that one when I was younger, not only because I just kind of liked the gameplay and the overall layout, but since I grew up playing the game, I actually kind of like the music in the game, if that makes any sense. I know with The Sims I like that too, that like you kind of get used to hearing it, and some of them, like the people who made them, they did a really good job like kind of crafting that and setting that up. And so the more you play it and hear that music, you're like, oh, I like the music at that level, or things like that. So that was always a very excellent one, especially since there's so many different ones since that one. I know I really liked the first one too. I probably played that one a lot more up until the third one, but once I got to that one, I was pretty hooked to it. I still find myself kind of just playing that one just because I kind of find it more relaxing than I did when I was a kid. Like, it does kind of get stressful at some levels, but I feel like if I'm feeling more stressed out, or if I need a game to kind of really just get my mind off something just for a little bit, I've played that game probably a million times. I could probably play it fairly easily for the most part, but sometimes just having something to kind of just take your mind off of everyday things or just kind of distracting you for a while was always a really nice outlet, and that can be very hard nowadays. So I just kind of find myself instinctively just kind of just turning it on and just playing it just because, like, somebody could just ask me, like, don't you want to play a new game? Well, sometimes, yeah, but sometimes sticking to what you know is always fun too, because I know in my case with being an older gamer, one of the reasons with finding comfort in games like that is just simply because since you've grown up playing it, you're very familiar with it, you're used to it, like you've seen it a whole bunch of times. So I think a lot of it is kind of what to expect when you play it long enough. So there's not really as many surprises as there would be in maybe a newer game that you're not as used to. And then it's just kind of like, if you feel like you're pretty good at the game too, I feel like there's kind of that sense of just, well, I'm really good at this game, I like to play this game. And if you've played maybe games with friends that maybe they were really good at and you weren't, you're kind of like, well, at least I'm good at this one. So if you're somebody who, like, you really want to focus on your strengths, I feel like a game like that, if you play it enough times, you can get used to it and familiarize yourself with it. And sometimes some people are just kind of like that anyway. Like, some people learn different ways, different types of learning, repetition. And I think that is one of the things that a lot of games teach us as well, that a lot of people don't always really think about. Unfortunately, with things like video games, some of them, I mean, perhaps not all of them exactly, but a lot of them kind of come with stigma, with like violence and that kind of thing. But I kind of like tell people, especially having been a gamer a really good portion of my life, I tell them, I can show you some games that have taught me some very valuable lessons that people wouldn't really think about. Not only with just kind of like maybe things like patience, but like if I ever played a game like Pokemon, for example, I felt like that was a game that taught me so much. Like, if you play a game like that, and even Mario too, if you look where you start in the game versus where you end, and like the difference between when you started, all the items you had, strength and all that, versus the end, you kind of really realize not only how big of a journey was it, but what you learned from the journey, what you obtained from it. And I feel like that, like in life, you can look back on things and think, well, I'm a lot smarter now than I was 5 years ago. But I feel like sometimes when you play like certain games, they kind of almost have the proof that, like, well, when I first got this item, I had only this item, and now I have all these other ones that I found as well. And really looking at your progress, like if you have a map that's showing you all the places you went to and they are check marked every time you're done with them, and you can just kind of see that map light up over time. You're like, oh wow, I've made a lot of progress. I've really gotten better at this. So yeah, Mario's little guy with the red uniform going to save the princess and getting coins and fighting big old Bowser, and then he's got his faithful friend Luigi with him, and sometimes Yoshi, sometimes Toad and Peach, and some of the other ones. So yeah, he's always been the good guy. So as long as I've known him, he's always been there, and he's always been a hero. So that's another game that I've really enjoyed for many years, that I really hope a lot of people enjoy as well, because I think it's a pretty good kind of strategy kind of platform game that I think a lot of people can kind of get behind. And if at first it's not the easiest game, you can gradually kind of get better at it, and it gets easier. And yeah, I think life is like that too. So I think that a game like that is very helpful in showing people that patience and hard work really does pay off. And I think there's a lot of really valuable things to be learned from really simple things, even like video games, that depending on how you look at it, you can actually see more than just some little guy saving the princess, or somebody training their pet to take on the world, or making your little sim family. I think that video games give us a lot more than what people think. And I hope they give people as much happiness as they give me, because happiness is a very important thing in life. Until next time, have a great day.